Hey everybody, and welcome back to the final round of the first ever Wyoming State Championship. I want to give a thanks to Visit Cheyenne and Pine Bluffs for helping out paying the footage and also just helping with the courses and all the advertisements and things like that. I want to thank Troy, being a great TD. This was a really good experience. And today we are at Little America in Cheyenne, following Tyler Liebman out of Fort Collins. He had a couple really stellar rounds. Those first two rounds, he
played those really well,
pretty comfortably. But Justin really kind of started pulling up toward him.
Yep, Justin's right on his tail, only two behind, so should be a good round.
Rapid City, Rapid City, South Dakota.
We got Jacob Roley here again. He's out of Fort Collins as well, sitting just one behind that. So all these guys are in striking distance.
And then we got a newcomer to the card for this tournament, Calvin Delamere. And this guy has got some really sleepy power.
Yeah, he does.
It's just this effortless form that just blasts distance that
I believe
you'd
he's
never
out
see.
of Boulder.
Yeah, it's a lot of Colorado guys coming up here to run the Wyoming State Championship.
Right. So hole one here it's a fun hole. You get a big downhill bomb just straight down the fairway of a golf course. So whatever shot you want, pretty much.
Just straight.
Yeah, the more straight down there you
honestly,
can get, the better.
Farther right you land in the fairway, like this looks perfect. Because it's not going to get him too far left and pinched off against those trees.
Yeah, the way the fairway curves, if the more left you are, unless you're way down there, it really blocks that second shot. So you want to play to the right side if you can.
Let's see what Justin does. Looks like it didn't quite get the flip he wanted. But that's still fighting far down there. And actually, it looks like he punched through to the other side.
Yeah, he's... Actually, there's shots over there. It changes the hole completely. Jacob getting a nice flip up on that one. Maybe not quite what he was looking for, though.
He might be able to get a good roll down the hill. No, that tucked him into those trees there.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tough out.
That looks like it's got... Oh, it turned
a bit too much, but again, that right side is going to be a lot better for the second throw.
And he got to roll out so he's not right up on that slope.
Here, I'm not sure he's going to try to punch across the water or just lay up to the water.
I think he's just playing to the water from the looks of it. And that
grass just grabbed it.
But yeah, from there he should be able to approach the green. Tyler's going for it.
And he's getting across by almost too much.
Yeah, almost too much. Wow. By quite a bit too much, actually.
If he's not tucked into that tree, that's actually going to be a really good lie.
Yeah, it should be an easy birdie from there, but that's sketchy on whether you run that eagle at all.
You know, he didn't have much from where he was. Yeah. That was a really good out.
Yeah, Jacob really was in a bad spot right there. That'll give him a chance to approach the green and still have a chance at a birdie.
See, and Calvin's going with the sidearm here to fade away from the water toward the basket, and that worked out beautifully. That was great.
That water gets in your head a lot more than you think.
Is he going thumber?
Oh, he is.
Ooh.
Right down into that.
He might have been trying to lay up short of the water. With a thumber, sometimes... You know, you can't trust him to get that distance.
Right.
Ooh, that was close.
Yeah, and he was just hanging right on that edge, just barely in bounds. Looks like in the background they're over there checking it out.
That looked a little fluffed from Justin. I think he might have been frustrated from going OB.
Yeah, I could understand that.
Well, here's Jacob looking at an eagle.
Oh no, I think that might be a mistake. This was actually because he had to pitch out.
That is true.
So Justin here to save his par after going out, though.
Oh. It was a little bit windy that day, and so it looks like the wind lifted that right up over the band. No.
That's a rough start.
Yeah, that's a real rough start.
That's tough to take sometimes.
Especially when it looks like the rest of the cards lining up for some birdies here.
Well, I think Jacob's
Jacob
actually a par.
That's right.
Tyler's got a pretty easy birdie here.
Still, though, you're starting out of position on your drive and still walking away with the par, that's not bad.
Right, the way he had to pitch out like that. Oh, and that's
that was
just
a really unfortunate
start.
bounce on that last putt. That kind of just spilled out the backside.
Right.
So that gets Tyler with some real separation on the card.
Yeah,
there.
he's got a little bit of a comfortable spot there now. He can kind of relax and
now we turn around and go back up the hill. This is actually one of the very few uphill holes on the entire course.
Yeah. And it's one of our few temporary holes on this front nine. The rest of them are all permanent holes. The first hole we don't get to play all the way down there, so we don't usually get to play this one back up.
That looked all right. That's not going to be bad. It's about 20 feet out with a crosswind putt.
And I don't think even that fenced-in area was out of bounds.
I don't
on
believe
this.
so. They didn't put it on.
So the only out of
scorecard.
bounds was the parking lot.
And that's going to be more of a risk for Jacob than the rest of this card, as he's going to be fading out toward the street there. But he's fine. A little pinch by that tree, but not bad.
Yeah, just left it a little short. He should be in decent shape, though.
Let's see if Justin can bounce back from that last hole.
It just isn't flipping the way he wants.
No, but he's still got a nice open putt.
Yeah, that drop off right behind the basket to the parking lot can play
It's
into
nerving.
that, though.
Yes.
That's nerves of steel there.
Yeah, that was a good putt.
Yeah, because that drop off is no joke.
And a great bounce back from taking a double to canning that putt. That's
Yeah.
what you need.
Exactly.
He knew it out of his hand.
Yeah.
You could see the expression in the back of his head. Oh, no.
And it just walking. Okay.
The wind looks like it's really starting to pick up, too.
Yeah, we had some kind of crazy weather. It kind of
That was a
got
good putt
bad,
from
got
Calvin.
nice, got bad again. It was a little crazy of a day.
That's 2 down for Calvin through 2.
And that's a great start with these guys kind of all starting slow like this. 'Cause I think that's pars on both of them for Jacob.
But that's it's clean.
It is.
Justin was able to, at least get the birdie on that second hole.
Yeah, one more
Start
and
working
it'll
his way back down
work
again.
his way back out of that.
And Tyler didn't pull away from them anymore on that, so it's still a relatively tight field. And this hole can be interesting. I'm excited to see how Jacob takes this hole.
Right, the left hand.
He does have a
it
really good
makes,
sidearm.
He does. And he might need it for this hole. The way you need that cut to the left way at the end, that's really hard for a lefty.
Even that's a bit wider than you want to take it. It's just a bit more comfortable.
And that might be a little long.
It's
but
going to be an
that's-
Anheuser approach.
Yeah, that's going to be a decent spot, but almost a little long of where you want to be.
That was crushed.
Yeah, that was quite a bit long of where you want to be.
And when you're up here on the tee pad, Tyler doesn't even know that those two went as deep as they did. For all he
it's
knows,
so
those were
blind.
perfect lines. And that went a little too far to the left, and that's going to pinch his approach off.
Yeah. You gotta, if you're gonna not get far enough around the turn, you gotta be shorter so you still have a look at the basket.
See, that looks like it's as tight as he needs it to be. Definitely was tight enough, but it just kept carrying over to the left. And actually, it looks like Justin might have one of the better approaches to the basket.
Oh, just kind of left it a little short there.
Shouldn't be too
Gonna
bad.
have a little bit of branch in his way.
Yeah, a straddle should be all he needs. Great up from Calvin.
Yeah, nice little
This
sidearm
is definitely
approach.
a bonus birdie. This is you don't want to bogey this hole, but if you don't birdie it, it's okay. Just take your par and walk off. That's a good upshot.
Yeah.
Jacob.
Yeah, he's
pinched
having
himself
to
off
kind of
pretty
lean
bad.
himself out around there, just trying to get enough room for that shot.
That was a good up though.
Yeah. He'll be in decent shape there. Can see those branches right in Justin's way here, though.
And they're dancing. No!
Oh.
He went down to pick up his mini and didn't even realize, because that was perfect.
Look at this. Fully in the chains and just spits it back towards him.
That was
Oh, that's
uncalled for.
unfortunate.
Best thing he can do now is just have a short memory and carry
Yeah.
on. God, even that 4-foot putt with that headwind right there is just so sketchy. Because that same thing that happened to Justin could happen to you.
Yeah. That is the truth.
And that's painful to see. I know Justin, he'll turn it around.
Yeah, it was a good putt. I mean, that really was a good putt. It was fully in the chains. It didn't punch through. It didn't fall out the side. It got carried back towards him.
And the rest of the card played that pretty much textbook.
Yeah,
that's how you
textbook.
play that. You get it out into the open where you have a look at the basket, set up your approach, and you putt in. This hole, however, is a little bit trickier.
Yeah.
I
you
take
really
the
gotta make
roller
a
approach because that's the best
corner
way to eat
turn.
the distance.
Yeah.
But
And you can
it
have
is
a
par
better
4.
chance of
Oh
looking
no, it's a
through
par
it.
3 on this event.
It was on this event.
Oh. So Calvin goes high to try to get it to cut back as hard as he can. Sets himself up for another sidearm toward the basket.
Yeah, that's a decent spot for an
It's
approach
really how
shot.
the hole is kind of designed. Play up to the corner, and then play up to the basket, and
Right.
play in.
Right.
And so, the fact that those guys basically played this hole how it's supposed to be played and are still looking at a tough shot tells you how hard this hole really is.
Yeah. And Jacob just is not getting
It
the
just
turn.
carried straight for too long.
I think that wind was just holding it
Hold
up.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what I like seeing. Actually
Super
cutting like
tight
that. It
cut
just
roller.
it just never quite stood up. If it
It looked like
had,
it hit
it
some
had a
trees
chance of
and
getting
slowed
there.
it down a little bit.
Well, and the way it dug right out of his hand there, that was kind of awkward. Needs to land a little smoother.
Nice low sidearm, good skip, great roll,
easy,
and park.
easy 3 from there. Now this is a tough spot for a lefty.
Yeah, and this is for his 3 after the OB. And he put himself back behind
Yeah,
another tree.
there's almost nothing there.
No.
Calvin, looks like everybody kind of going with that sidearm approach.
That was great.
Yeah.
Now let's see where Justin landed. He might be a little bit pinched by these low branches.
Yeah, he definitely is having to kind of go under him, it looks like.
That looked like a really soft, controlled sidearm, no problem.
Yeah, without that tree, he would have been
Jacob
right
has a
under
window.
it.
That's not a bad tunnel. I can see him hitting this. He couldn't. Smart play, safe play. Better take
Yeah.
that than an extra one on top.
Right. That one stayed in, so that was a nice 3 from Justin.
Yep. And 3, and honestly, even though it is par on this hole during this event, it feels like a birdie.
It does.
It's such a good.
It's an
feeling.
unlikely 2, so
Yes, I think
a
I've seen
3
it maybe
feels
once or
pretty
twice.
good. Yeah, and it's always been with that sidearm cut roller that kind of stands up at the very end.
And Jacob taps out his unfortunate double bogey there. The rest of the card picking up their threes. The first stumble for Jacob really in the round, but there's a lot of good holes for his arm coming up here soon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he definitely has an arm to make short work of this course. Definitely.
And every one of these guys probably has the power to clear this water, but I don't think any one of them is going to go for it. The risk reward just is not there.
Right. No. No, they were out there getting distances off of me instead of anywhere near the basket, so right then I knew they weren't trying for it.
And I like this play. It's a little bit too far left, I think.
Yeah, that's a little more than you want.
But that left side really opens up the hyzer angle into the basket. And I don't think there was a Mando on here either, so the back door is also open.
Correct.
That's about the spot you want to be.
Right. A little closer to the water would be nice, but unnecessary.
Yep. Any more than that, you're just getting greedy. You're just tempting fate.
Right. And like you said, that opens up a nice hyzer line. Just throw something stable at the basket.
Yeah, and Justin shorted that as well, but again, that's the safe play.
Yeah.
You're not trying to attack the first drive. You're trying to attack after this. This is just a placement shot.
Whereas Jacob, he's trying to stay to the right side, and for the same reason, to open that hyzer up.
Let's see if Calvin's going to go right or left of that pine tree. He's sneaking into the back door.
Yes, he is.
And that was actually a very fortunate kick.
Yeah, it'll get him out in the open a little more.
Justin's going straight at it, but that's coming out a little early. That's not bad. They ended up in a pretty similar spot.
Yeah, it's a long putt, but they're definitely in a decent position.
They can both go for birdie, but it's a pretty easy par.
Now, I don't know a lot of Tyler's bag, but I do know that was a justice he just threw there.
What?
That's
a rip.
Yeah,
for a justice.
That's kind of what I said to him. He got up there, and I'm like, a justice? Really? There's no way I could have done that.
It could be a beaten in one too. Something that has a longer, straighter flight.
It could. It's part of why I've learned never underestimate Tyler Liebman's arm.
That was a good up from Jacob. He'll tap out his par easily and carry on.
Indeed.
Calvin is going for this birdie. He wants it.
Oh, and it was so close to going in.
That was a great shot. Punching it underneath that low ceiling.
He really had to get some spin on it for that. Oh, and these baskets just do not want to let the disc
if anything,
in.
that was a really good putt. Just a little left.
Right, just a little bit off to the left, but that...
And Tyler Carton, the solo birdie.
Yeah, that was nicely done.
That second shot was awesome.
Yeah.
With the justice. Get out of here.
Over that pond with the justice, that blew me away.
That's just confidence. That's all that is. Like, I know my game, I know my discs.
And that disc is good for that. Especially with his power, he doesn't want to overshoot it. He doesn't want it to flip over.
Tap in some really simple routine pars. They all really did play the hole the way it's supposed to be played.
And it is a difficult par 4 regardless, so I mean...
Because so much rides on that second shot.
Yeah, well, in the placement of the first shot, if you put yourself out of position, you can kiss birdie goodbye.
There's also a golf green and a sand trap there, too.
Yeah,
so
well, and a couple trees that you can end up blocked by.
Yep. Talk about trees to be blocked by. Hole 6 is like the one heavily wooded hole on the course. It's only 183 feet, but it hands out some bogeys, especially when if you hit the OB fence left.
Yeah.
A bad tree kick spells disaster.
And it's such a tight,
low ceiling hole. What he wanted,
hole.
But that's not a bad shot. It's a nice, safe
Right.
position.
He's not open. In a terrible spot. But there is so little off of this tee. It's so difficult to get through.
That's a really common line for the backhands, is taking that right gap.
Right. There's a nice little flex sidearm gap here,
That's
too.
That's the most common line that I've seen. Oh, chop it into the tree.
Yeah, that's what I do on occasion, too, though. You're trying so hard to keep it low, it's so easy to throw it too low. I like this approach, going to a knee. That was a great idea, actually. I really like that.
Really opens it up.
Yeah.
And
Makes it feel less like you're throwing it down.
You can't hit that same gap on that with it on a knee.
Yeah.
You know, that's a shot that Jacob's got that most of us just can't hit.
Right. Calvin was able to take that more open outside
Yep. I like
area.
that.
That's a good way if you're... That's why that right side's not a horrible miss. There's
Tyler's
actually some
just
good approaches.
Laying it up. I think the low ceiling was just a bit too much from that distance.
And got the roll too.
Yeah, not happy. I wouldn't be either. This is a tough putt.
Yeah. Oh, and just clip that branch.
Fortunately, he had a forward carry on it, though.
Yeah, you can see the frustration in him. Jacob here, the only one with a real birdie putt. Still had to keep it low, so tough to keep it in the air enough to get to the basket.
I guess there's a train came by through this time.
Yeah. Jacob tapping out his par here. And for such a short hole, you really don't see a whole lot of birdies on this hole.
No, you really don't. You've got to hit that line perfectly, and it can punish very hard. Justin taking the double on that, it's not the only double I've seen on that hole.
No.
I've seen higher scores on that hole all the time. And it's so frustrating for a 183-foot hole to be dishing out scores like that, but it's such a tight technical hole.
Yeah, for sure. So then we go to a long hole, and it starts technical, but then it opens up.
It's
so if you can just get out of the trees and kind of flare off to the left there, you'll have a nice open look to the
par four,
approach.
and that you have to look at it as two separate drives. You have your first drive for positioning, and then your second drive up to the basket. That came out a little short, but he should be open enough.
You really want to be past all those trees, but hopefully he'll have room for a nice throw from there.
Calvin taking the high sidearm approach, which is actually pretty good. It's an open approach.
And he's all the way out, so that'll open him up really nicely,
I wouldn't be surprised
actually.
if we don't see four completely different approaches on this first drive.
Right. Here we got
Super
the low
sidearm.
That needs... Okay, it's fighting back out.
Can't flare too much. That is perfect.
Yeah, that's in great shape.
Looks like Justin's going to go the low backhand.
Yeah, he's looking at the same gap, it looks like. And just
up,
play
flip
that
up.
flare out. Needs to stop.
Ooh.
Okay, he'll get a meter off of that
Those two
fence,
shots are pretty much perfect.
Yeah, that'll give him a nice area to throw his second from. Can tell Tyler is still pinched off, but...
Yeah, he had to lean out a bit much, so he couldn't get that momentum he wanted.
Yeah, and
really
it didn't quite flip up. Or fight back out, I mean.
But he made it past the Mando. Doesn't have to worry about that anymore. Calvin gave himself a long look for birdie.
Yeah, I'd say he's 45, 50 maybe, it looks like, but he's putting.
That looks pretty good.
Oh, and it held the
That
whole
looks
way.
great.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
man.
what you need to do. Looks like it must be
I don't
tailwind
think
from
I've
the way
ever
that
seen this
flag
hole
was
played
looking.
this well. That just needs to get beaten down, and oh my god. Both of those were their second throws. Tyler back here for his third.
Yeah, after being tucked behind that tree, that's really not that bad. Leaving it a bit short, it looks like, though.
15, 20 feet. Maybe a bit more. Sometimes it's hard to tell on camera.
Yeah, you don't have the depth perception on camera, for sure. That'll be a tap in for his par.
It's okay. Par on this hole is acceptable.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for these guys it really isn't. They're trying to birdie out. They're trying to birdie out from 1 to 18.
Well, yeah, of course. And they have the power and the ability to do that, for sure.
That's a great birdie.
Yeah, hopefully that'll
Again,
help kind of
great
turn
bounce
things
back.
around
You know,
for
he
him.
had that
Yeah.
bad hole, turns around, gets an awesome birdie. Same with Jacob. That was amazing.
Those drives set him up perfectly
Seeing
for that
two birdies
approach.
on this hole on one card, that's awesome.
Yeah, not something you really expect.
And no red. Good on you guys. Good on you.
Yeah. That is really good. That gap is so difficult to get out of at the beginning of that hole. So, yeah, to see two birdies and two pars is impressive.
Up until that point, Justin and Calvin were tied up. So that pulled Justin ahead of Calvin by one stroke right there.
Okay.
It's really close back between those three. It's a 9, 10, and 11. They're duking it out. And this hole, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's going to serve an advantage to any right hand, backhand, left hand, whatever, like what have you.
It kind of feeds a little more to that lefty backhand. But if you have a sidearm, then it works just fine.
That was a great shot.
Yeah. And there is a Mando on the right, that first tree on the right, the big one.
Keeps you out of hole 7's fairway.
It keeps you out of hole 7's fairway, so that kind of makes it a little bit more of a lefty hole.
Yeah, you got to punch pretty straight on this right-hand side. And that was really fortunate to be able to get through all those branches there.
Got under that tree and just kept sliding along.
That tree's the one to miss.
Yeah.
He's not too happy with it. Oh, yeah. Path and beyond OB.
Yeah, just turned it over too much. Too low to give it time to fight back out.
Calvin looks like he didn't want that same thing to happen and went the other way.
Yeah. And he
Caught
hit
up
that
in the tree.
He should have a look, though. It might be a little awkward, but he should have a look out of there.
This is pretty far back for looking at his par shot here. Going straight for it, though.
Oh, definitely didn't want to come up short there.
Didn't want to have a putt that long in this wind, though.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Calvin had a little tricky shot to deal with there, but he got himself close to the basket. Should be able to clean up his par. Now we're looking at the birdie looks here.
Yeah, Justin's in pretty good shape for a birdie here. I'd give him maybe 40 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, dead center. That was a great putt.
And the gallery cheers. Small little gallery that started to form by this time.
Right. Well, that might have even just been the group ahead of him on the next tee. But that was a great putt. I'm sure anyone around was cheering. Oh, and just let that one a little low and left.
He was wanting the wind
That
to
could
take
be.
that up into the basket. Whew!
That's a good save after
was a
going
great
OB.
save.
Left
Putt was a
himself a
little
little
sketchy, though.
longer than he wanted. Yeah, that was a little scary.
Yeah, clean up his 3. No, nothing too scary, no problems. Move along and you're good to go. Staying with Calvin.
Yeah.
From being stuck in that tree and saving your par, that's great.
Yeah, for sure. Justin got the sole birdie on that one. Kind of helped
2
pull
strokes
him
swing on
back
tie.
around. Got him and Jacob tied back up. And Calvin's closing in on
Those
that.
3 are kind of dancing around second place right now.
Yeah.
Well, second place for this card. We don't know who
Yeah,
else
that
is
we
out there
know
doing
of.
what.
Yeah.
Hole 9, it's only 414 feet, which seems a bit short for a par 4. But with how much is in your way between here and the basket and the line that you actually have to take, it's deserving of the par.
Yeah, because
that looks a little rough,
he
though.
took a pretty straight line, but it was way up in the air.
Okay. that didn't come back and fight like I thought it would.
And Jacob's looking at some absurd line that I can't quite fathom, and goes around the left side of all those trees
And basically parks it.
Gives himself a putt.
That's such a scary line.
I can't even imagine. That is such a crazy line to me.
I saw a lot of guys take that with big Annies.
Really?
Big right hand and Anheuser shots, and most of them ended up over by the green over there.
Yeah, that's what I'd expect out of that almost. Tyler just ripping away as well. It's a much longer hole than it really looks, and it was playing kind of a weird wind direction, and it's starting to rain on us, so it was definitely a difficult hole. And just like that, it's really coming down.
Yeah, it didn't come down like this for too long, though.
No, it didn't.
I remember I was on hole 11 at this time, and it was ugly.
Yeah, and it came in quick, and you can see it's already starting to let up. I think by the next hole it was done.
That sounds about right.
And then it actually got pretty nice again.
Come on.
Oh yeah,
that's 2 putts in a row where he's just
really
left
not
himself.
happy with that. Just shaking his head no. Yeah, we've all had those days, and that's about all you can do is
been able
shake
to
it
tie
off.
it up, at least keep it tied up with Jacob, until right there. But
right.
they're all really close. They're all fighting. He's just he should be negative, and he knows it. That's what's going on in his mind right now. Like, I should be under par, and I know his typical performance, and he is definitely not playing to his peak right now. And,
hopefully he'll be able to turn it around here on the back nine.
Oh yeah.
It was definitely a rough
player,
front nine on him.
Even Tyler, he's doing pretty well, but he was only 2 down for that entire front 9. Calvin had the best round out of all of them, playing
and
relatively
he's still only
clean.
3 down. I mean, there's definitely more birdies to be had than that out there, but it's been
with
kind of
conditions,
awkward.
with the wind,
Yeah,
the rain,
exactly.
and just this course itself. This course is one of those places where it's birdieable, it's attackable. There's definitely scores that you can make, but you miss your lines, you kind of get stuck in these little spots like you've seen where they got to pitch out and do these weird little shots. And so I'm really excited to see what happens on the back 9.
Yeah, I get to see the part where the part of the course we don't see that often, and see how they handle that part. So I hope everybody comes and joins us for that.
See you there, guys.